Hello everyone, Mike here from WaxDAO.io. In this video we're going to be talking about synthetic assets. I'm hyped about it, you should be hyped about it. And before we talk about it, I'd just like to point out that I apologize if the audio is crap in this video. I'm not staying home right now since the hurricane and all that in Florida, so I'm staying with a ex-girlfriend right now, which is always fun. But yeah, with that being said, let's get into it. And some of you guys I know might not know what a synthetic asset is. So let me just cover that real quick. Basically, it's an asset that represents a basket of one or more other assets, right? So you have a token and it kind of represents other tokens, if that makes sense. I know most of you might be familiar with LP tokens, right? So you provide liquidity on, let's say, Uniswap or Alcor exchange or whatever exchange. You deposit, let's just say, for example, 100 USDT and 1,000 wax tokens, right? So those are kind of the underlying assets, 100 USDT, 1,000 wax. And in exchange, once you do that, you get this token called like wax USLP or, something along those lines, whatever it's called. And that token that you get in exchange kind of represents your other tokens. So that works kind of like a synthetic asset, but it's not the same thing because in this specific case, right, as time goes by and people trade that token, or those two tokens, I should say, and the prices of them fluctuate, you still have your LP tokens, but you might not necessarily get back the same amount that you deposited. You might go to withdraw your money tomorrow or, swap out your LP tokens tomorrow. And even though you deposited 100 USDT and 1,000 wax, you might only get back, let's say, 50 USDT and, I don't know, 1,500 wax or 2,000 wax or something like that. It's going to fluctuate. You're going to get back different amounts. And for all intents and purposes, the LP tokens that you got, they didn't actually represent assets. All they really represented was an ownership share in this liquidity pool. So synthetic assets now are very similar in a sense, being that they represent something else, but they don't work the way that LP tokens work because you're always guaranteed to get back whatever that token is supposed to be worth. So if you create, let's say, a synthetic asset that represents 100 USDT and 1,000 wax, well, in a year from now or a month from now or 5 years from now, if you take that one token and you try to exchange it back for your original assets, you're always going to get back the exact same amount that it's supposed to be worth. So in this example, you would take that synthetic token and you'd get back 100 USDT and 1,000 wax. It wouldn't matter if the prices fluctuated. It wouldn't matter if people traded it, bought it and sold it. Nothing would matter. The only thing that matters is that you get back exactly what you put in. And the same thing goes vice versa, right? So if you had 100 USDT and 1,000 wax, you'd always be able to exchange those to get one of these synthetic tokens. So if that makes sense, I'll show you how to actually go through the process of creating and using one now because we just launched this on WaxDAO in the last 24 hours. So all you'd have to do is go to WaxDAO.io and then you go to the top right side of the screen and click on the wallet icon. It'll ask you to go to your wallet, which is what you want to do. And then in your wallet, you're going to see a section called tokens. And if you click on it, there is a little subsection called synthetics. So once you click on synthetics, you can close up the sidebar. It's going to ask you what you want to do. I know that the UI on this is very basic in typical WaxDAO fashion, so I'll work on this as time goes by. But for now, you've got three options. You can create a new synth, you can redeem one of your synths, or you can buy one that already exists. I'll walk you through the process of each of these. So we'll start off with creating a new synthetic asset. If you just click Create Synth, it's going to ask you, first of all, what you want the token name to be. So choose a token name. Same as any other token, it's got a limit of 7 characters and it has to be uppercase letters. So let's just say we want to call it YouTube for this tutorial, I guess. So that's going to be the name of our token. And now we just have to choose the underlying assets. So it explains right here that each one synthetic token that we create is going to be worth whatever we enter below. So for example, if you put in these fields that I'm about to show you, if you were to put 0.25 wax and 10 Wojak, it would mean that each token that we create is going to be worth 0.25 wax and 10 Wojak. So we can choose up to 5 different tokens right now that we want this YouTube token to represent. So let's just start off by clicking add asset, and we'll add one. And now first we have to enter the symbol. So what token is this going to represent? Let's say for this tutorial we'll do the wax token. You have to format this a specific way. It has to be in the format of a symbol on the Wax blockchain. Basically, it's just the amount of decimal places that the token has, a comma, and then the name of the token. I know it's a little bit weird, but that's just how it is right now. Wax token has 8 decimals, so we would put 8, comma, and then wax. So that's the wax token. Then we have to enter the contract address, which is for wax token is eosio.token. That's going to be a different contract for different tokens, obviously. And then we put the token quantity. So we want each one YouTube token to be worth how many wax? In this example, let's just say we want one YouTube to be worth 1.5 wax tokens, I guess. And then we can either add more assets or remove this one if we messed it up or whatever we want to do. Let's click add asset to add another one, and we'll say the second asset here is going to be the WaxDAO token, which also has 8 decimal places. So we'll put 8, comma, WaxDAO. And the contract address for this token is MD Crypto NFTs. And we'll say we want it to be worth, I don't know, 5.75 WaxDAO. And let's add one more token just for fun. We'll just choose a random token from a WaxDAO pool here. We'll do the Quax token at the online in. So let's do the symbol. I believe this has 8 decimals, so we'll do 8, comma, Quax. The contract is the online in, and we'll say we want it to be worth 10 Quax tokens. So now we've got 3 different tokens here that we've added. This one YouTube token is going to be worth 1.5 wax, 5.75 WaxDAO, and 10 Quax tokens. So now we just click create synth. And it's going to ask me to open up Anchor and sign this transaction. You can see that the basket of assets here is these 3 tokens that we chose. The symbol that we're going to be creating is 8, YouTube. Any token that you create here is going to have a precision of 8 decimals. You don't have a choice. That's the way that I have the contract set up. So now we just need to sign this. I'm going to sign it on my hardware wallet. Your new synth has been created. So we've just created a synthetic asset now on WaxDAO. We don't actually have any of this token yet. So what happens when you create it is the WaxDAO synths contract. It creates the token. It issues the max supply to itself. So now all of these tokens are sitting in the WaxDAO synths contract, and they're waiting for people to actually exchange these assets for that token. So if we go now to buy synth, we would have the option to choose one of these existing tokens that are on the contract. Somebody created one last night called USD Earn, and we have this YouTube token here. So if we click buy synth from the top menu and then we go to YouTube, we can type in that the amount that we want to buy. Let's say we want to buy 3 YouTube tokens. It's going to tell us that the required inputs here, we have to send 4.5 wax, 17.25 WaxDAO, and 30 Quax tokens. We don't have to actually do any of this manually. The front end and the contract will take care of this automatically. So I can click buy 3 YouTube now that I've typed this in. And this isn't going to work for me because I don't believe I have 30 Quax in my account. But I'm going to click it anyway and see what happens. So if I click the button to buy, it'll ask me to sign a transaction. And if we scroll through, we'll see the different actions that are involved here. So assert synth is the first one. That's kind of just like an action where we let the contract know that we're about to make this purchase. It doesn't actually take anything from you except some RAM. And then you have the eosio.token transfer. So it's going to ask us to deposit 4.5 wax. Another transfer for the 17.25 WaxDAO. And then one more last transfer for the 30 Quax. So I can try to sign this, but I know I don't have the Quax in my account. Yeah, no balance object found, so I don't have any quacks. Let me send myself some quacks and come back in 1 second. Sorry. Alright, sorry about that. I just made the transfers to myself, so I should have enough balance to cover this now. Let me click buy again and sign these. Processing. And your tokens have been redeemed. I need to change that message because that should be for redeeming. So just a little front end thing I need to do there. But it should have went through. So now if we go to the redeem tab, I have to refresh the page. If I go back to tokens and synthetics in my wallet and I click on redeem now, you can see that I have some YouTube tokens. It doesn't show me my balance. Like I said, this is brand new. I need to do a couple things here. But what did I buy? 3 of them. So let's say I want to redeem 2 of them now. It tells me right here that I will receive 3 wax, 11.5 WaxDAO, and 20 Quacks tokens. And if I click on redeem, it's going to ask me to sign. And it's basically asking me to transfer 2 of these YouTube tokens to the WaxDAO synths contract, where it will send me back the respective tokens that this is supposed to represent. So that's going through right now. And my tokens have been redeemed. That's the correct message in this case. So if I go to blocks now, I should have 1 of these YouTube tokens left. And I should have some of these other tokens that have been transferred to me. So let's take a look at my account, Mike D Crypto 5. And if we go through my recent transactions here, the first thing we've got is new synth. This is when we created the new synth. So the user is me, the symbol is YouTube, and it tells us what each token is going to be worth. 1 YouTube token is 10 quacks, 5.75 WaxDAO, 1.5 wax. Then I transferred myself some quacks tokens to complete that transaction. And then the next transaction here is this whole list of these actions here. So I did the assert synth action, which lets the contract know we are about to buy a synthetic token using some assets. Then we sent 4.5 wax, 17.25 WaxDAO, and 30 quacks to the contract, all in one transaction. And in exchange, it sent us 3 YouTube tokens. Then next, we exchanged 2 YouTube, or we redeemed 2 YouTube tokens. In exchange, we got 3 wax and 11.5 WaxDAO sent to us, and 20 quacks. So that's basically how that works, right? You create a new token, it represents a few assets. You can buy one of those synthetic tokens by exchanging the respective assets for the synthetic token. Or you can sell the synthetic token if you already have one or have some, and you can get back the basket of assets that it represents. The values are always the same. Oh, not USD values, but you know what I mean. You always get the same quantities, and it goes both ways. You can exchange for the synth, or you can sell the synth to get those assets. It's always going to be the same quantities. And there are a few reasons why someone might want to do something like this, right? For example, until WaxDAO version 2 farms come out, which I don't have an exact date on yet, you might want to reward people with multiple tokens when they stake in your farm, or in your LP farm, or your single-sided staking pool, or whatever the case may be. There might be a reason why you want to reward people with multiple different tokens, right? You don't want to just reward them with one. You want to say, well, I'm going to give you some wax, and I'm also going to give you some USDT, and I'm also going to give you some Quacks tokens, and I'm also going to give you some WaxDAO, or whatever. You can do all of that with one single token now using synthetic assets on WaxDAO. So you would just create a synthetic asset. You would choose the basket of assets that you want it to represent. And then when you create a farm on WaxDAO or a pool on WaxDAO, well, for the reward token, you would just put the synthetic asset and reward people with that. Then when they go to claim their rewards, they can go and then just swap out that synthetic asset, get the assets that it represents, and then you have yourself a reward pool where people get multiple tokens. So that's basically it. You can thank Wax Labs for this, because They approved my grant proposal for $18,000 of funding for WaxDAO. I'm pretty much flat broke and I've been bootstrapping this whole time. So I was able to make this happen because of them, and it's able to be free for you guys because of them. I've also removed the need to pay for Super Blender whitelisting on WaxDAO because of Wax Labs. So thank you to Wax Labs, and on behalf of myself and all the people using WaxDAO, I'm sure they all appreciate it too. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.